Hey guys, I'm Matt. Welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. We're here with the North American Maple Society. We're doing some tours of some incredible gardens today. And tell us a little about your garden and what your name is and where we're at.
All right, I'm Camille Paulsen, and this is my garden. Been here since 2011, and I love maples, love conifers, love plants in general, plant geek.
Guys, get ready. This one's incredible. We've been walking around this garden. How long have you been gardening at this location?
Well, we moved here in 2011. I probably intensively started in 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost a big Doug fir, and so it was pretty much flat lawn out here, and we thought we could do something a little bit more interesting.
This place is absolutely incredible. I know the whole group's been blown away walking around here.
Thank you.
How many maples would you say you have on the location here? Just a rough guess.
Probably close to 100.
Wow, okay. Conifers?
Probably similar.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's so many cool plants here.
Yeah.
Everybody's been geeking out on all the cool plants.
Good.
And it's so well laid out. This place is just impeccable. Thank you for letting us walk around these gardens. It's just really fun.
It's an honor for me to have you. Oh my gosh, what a treat. Thank you.
Hey y'all, it's Tim. I was so excited about checking out this garden. I'd heard so many great things about Camille's garden, and there's just so many cool plants everywhere you turn.
Hey guys, I'm Matt. We're going to let this one breathe a little bit. We're going to let you see some of the gardens and show you around this place, let the music play a little bit different style for us. We'll talk a little bit, but not the whole time. Amazing Omureyama there at the beginning.
I loved how she used the hardscaping and all the creeks and everything in here. Here you see a nice autumn moon. I mean, everything about this garden is just so well thought out.
Yeah, I really enjoyed going here. We went here with the North American Maple Society. Camille was so great. She had refreshments, had a nice cup of coffee around back with everybody, and really enjoyed the view.
The Maple Society is a good group of individuals. If you're ever interested in learning about maples, check out the Maple Society, the North American branch. Great group of people. They've got meetings. They've got a quarterly that goes out. So many cool things. If you love maples, you should be in the Maple Society.
This garden had a lot of nice plants, a lot of nice conifers, a ton of maples, so many maples, but just a ton of great plants. And I had a good mixture of both too.
I believe back there in the distance is a Kihachijo that was just finishing its fall color. It was probably just a few days past its peak, but Camille said that it had really lit up the garden the week before. Now we're back to that Omureyama, guys. This was one of the best fall colors I've seen on Omureyama, and it was just at its peak. I think we shot John O'Brien's top 5 in front of this, and everybody was asking, hey, what's that tree behind John O'Brien? Well, it was Omureyama, and this thing was just really lighting up the whole landscape.
Great plant. We actually toured 2 gardens in this neighborhood. Wanted to give Camille's time to kind of check it out on its own, really give it its space, because this was such a fun garden. Hopefully with the playthrough and the music, you kind of get a sense for the garden as well, and you can kind of just enjoy it along with us like you got to go on the tour. Now, it was a little foggy this day, but her garden actually has an amazing view of Mount Rainier. I'd have to go back sometime and view this garden when it's not as foggy. It was a nice overcast Pacific Northwest day. I know Camille was really excited to have us in the garden, as well as Talon Buckholtz and many other nurserymen and women that were there with the Maple Society. Talon spent a good bit of time talking with her about some of his conifers and a few introductions that she had of his around the garden, and it was just a real pleasure to meet her. She was such a nice lady.
Yeah, there were even some Piceas and some introductions that Talon had introduced that she had in his garden that he didn't have anymore. And so I'm like, oh, shoot, now we're going to have to go visit Camille's garden and get some of those trees back for Buckholtz Nursery.
Yeah, I'd like to go back up here at some point. We're obviously on the West Coast a lot more now as owners of Buckholtz. I'd like to get back up here in the spring and show you this garden in the spring as well.
I love the variegated Japanese red pines, the Pinus densifloras that have that Draconis oculus, Oculus draconis variegation. They just grab your attention. I mean, it's an evergreen with variegation. It's going to grab your attention in the garden.
Peve starfish just starting to get into fall color. That thing will get a lot more pink red. So many great maples through the mix here. We won't talk about all of them, but it was just incredible to see. She has one of the best ukigumos I've ever seen in the wild.
And down in the distance, you see a Beniotaki, that red back in there. That is such a really cool plant. Everything about her garden, she has everything well thought out and planted according to how much space it's going to take up. I would say that this is probably one of the most well thought out gardens I've actually been to. And as you're seeing us as we're approaching down here on the right, you see a really nice torii gate that sort of is the entrance to her backyard.
You could tell she had a real passion for plants. I mean, when you meet people like this, you're like, you get it like I get it. Like, you're good at it too. Like, this was a well laid out garden with an eye for it. And I mean, just a lot of care and passion goes into creating a place like this. It doesn't happen by accident. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of planning and just a ton of effort to make this place look so wonderful.
On the right, we just passed Hydrangea Little Honey. It was cool to see her have that tucked away even around. I mean, every corner you turn around, there's cool new plants everywhere. Like, you can't walk by without seeing color contrast and cool new plants.
Variegated Fatsias, we just passed by. One of those look like camouflage back there. One of the trademark names on that one, but really cool Fatsia. And I love gardens that have rooms. You kind of walk through these different rooms here. As you get around the home, you kind of have these different little elegant places you can travel and visit within the garden. It makes each little piece of the garden have its own quality, its own texture, its own color. And you kind of get a bigger feel for the whole place because every little thing has so many details to it.
I really liked how you sort of walked into this room that was bordered by that fence, but then she took this Cedrus atlantica glauca pendula and put it over top of this fence. I mean, you just see it all down through here. She just used that as like a trellis. And it was just such a cool way to cover over a fence with some blue atlas cedars.
Yeah, what great texture that adds. I mean, why don't we do this with every fence? This is awesome. Such an inviting space, with the bowls, with the chairs. Everything about this garden just makes you want to hang out in it. Makes you want to, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and sit around and talk to people. It's a very welcoming garden. It's a very, it's just very friendly feel to the whole place too. All the colors and textures. Everybody was just hanging out in that area up there having some coffee, and it was really fun.
And there's where she would have that view of Mount Rainier. But again, we had a cloudy day when we went to visit. We'll have to go back and do another shoot of this garden in the spring and maybe more of a traditional walkthrough style.
So many great plants, many in fall color, many just starting. There's just a ton going on here.
I believe this is actually one of the weeping redwoods, one of the weeping sequoias. So cool just how it sort of has this animal-like appearance as it grows up and just continues to weep downward.
Some splashes of fall color. We were at all different levels here. As is common with fall, everything doesn't start at exactly the same time.
And that was actually one of the chocolate mimosas we passed right there.
Here's that big Acer palmatum ukigumo. You can see this one, still holding a lot of white for her here. Pretty soon this thing will be a really nice orange as it gets into fall color. She gets a ton of great white color on this one in the spring. I mean, it's truly lives up to the floating cloud right there with Mount Rainier right behind it.
And here we're coming by one of the Picea pungens. I believe this one might be the blues. It has that nice weeping style.
Love trees like that turned into arbors. What a fun way to enjoy a weeping tree, kind of have it leaned over an arbor, and just creates that texture in the garden. I mean, no stone was unturned here. Like every railway, every arbor has a conifer or maple attached to it. And this ginkgo was really starting to steal the show a little bit with some of its color.
I liked how she used this ginkgo in conjunction with her view, so she could actually get the view through the ginkgo and enjoy the fall color of the ginkgo at the same time.
Very special thanks to Camille Paulsen for letting us tour this garden. If you'd like to see more of her garden, a great way to check her out is at Tahoma Flora on Instagram. She's a frequent poster on there. Great content if you want to see more pictures of her garden and some of that view. That's just Tahoma Flora on Instagram. Camille Paulsen, really nice lady and just outstanding garden. Real passion for plants, you could tell. Very special thanks to Camille and her husband for letting us walk around their gardens. Take care
God bless.
and have a great day.